Hello everybody, Phil here, and today I'm finally going to be upgrading my SSD in my Steam Deck. The reason I put this off for so long is because there was never really a good way to get that size of SSD that's not like an OEM part that you have to get through a third party that's kind of sketchy and way overpriced usually. But Sabrent finally released a 2230 size SSD. And it's a rocket drive. It's an NVMe 4.0, so it's even faster than what you would get generally in a Steam Deck. I'm not sure if the Steam Deck slot is actually a 4.0 slot, so you might lose a little bit of performance there. I'm not 100% sure on that. Guess we'll have to find out. But it's really nice because now you can actually buy one of these consumer drives pretty easily. I got this on Amazon. I think it was like $150. It's listed on their website for $160, so I got a little bit of a discount there. But they are there in various sizes. There's the 256, a 512, and then 1 terabyte. And of course, we're going 1 terabyte because we have a 256 in here. That's the whole reason I got it. I wanted the mid-range because I figured at some point I would upgrade it. I didn't realize that it was going to be so much further into the year that I would have the Steam Deck to do that. But yeah, so we're going to do that. But first I need to drain the battery to under 25% apparently, according to all the guides online. So I'm going to do that. And then we're going to flip on over to me tearing this down and getting this drive in there. So I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are. I've drained the battery below 25%. As you can see, 24%. I'm going to get this guy shut down and then we're going to pop him open. I just thought about this, so it's important to remember to remove the external SD card before attempting to open the system because it will break the card and most likely damage the system as well. So you definitely don't want to forget that step. All right, so here we go, the innards of my Steam Deck. So underneath the shield, I believe is where the SSD is located, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that removed. And here it is, the SSD that's in there, and that's what we're going to be replacing today. So I'm going to open up this guy. Oh, wow. That's a really nice case it came in. Sabrent really went all out in packaging this drive. It's awesome. Before we swap out these drives, I'm going to unplug the battery to ensure that A, I don't shock myself, and B, I don't do any damage to the board itself as I'm removing the drive. Okay, so I'm going to get these two drives swapped out real fast, and then I'm going to get this guy put back together. All right, now that I've got the new drive installed, it's time to get a fresh install of SteamOS on it. I opted not to clone the drive, mostly because I don't own the equipment to do so, and to get one is too expensive for a single use case. So I'm going to walk you through how getting the SteamOS installed on this new drive, and we'll get this deck back up and running. Okay, so first thing we're going to need to do to get this fresh install in is to go over to Steam's support page, which they have the Steam Deck recovery instructions. And the first thing we're going to need to do is actually download the image for SteamOS. So once you click on that link, it'll take you over basically to the end user license. You'll just agree to it and it'll start to download. You need to be a little patient on this. It sat at 100% for a good 5 minutes or so before it was fully downloaded for me. So if it's just hung up, don't worry about it, it'll eventually download. And then since I'm using a Windows system, it recommends using the Rufus utility to actually write the image to a USB drive so that you can install it onto the Steam Deck. So I'm going to do that. So download the Rufus utility. Once you have both of those installed, go ahead and open the Rufus utility, plug in your USB drive that you're going to be writing the image on, and then bring the image into Rufus and start the process. It'll take several minutes, but once it's done, you can go ahead and safely remove your USB drive and you'll be ready to install onto the Steam Deck. So one thing you need to make note of, you either need to have a USB-C adapter for your USB drive or a USB drive that has a USB-C input, or you need to use a dock like I'm going to so that you can plug in your USB to the Steam Deck. And so now that you've got that onto the USB drive, you're going to go to your Steam Deck and you're going to need to turn it on into recovery mode. The way to do that is to hold down the volume down button and tap the power button. It will pop up with the Steam Deck logo and it'll sit there for a little while until it makes the doo-doo sound. Once you have that, you can go ahead and let go of the negative or the volume down, and it will boot up into basically a desktop mode so that you can start your recovery. And since this is a fresh install, we're going to do the re-image Steam Deck option. So you'll double click that and then you're just going to let it run and install. It's going to take several minutes, but once it's done, then it will boot back up into gaming mode and you'll be good to go from there. So there it is, an upgraded SSD in the Steam Deck. Really a pretty easy process. I can honestly recommend it to pretty much anybody. It's really not that hard as long as you take it a little slow once you're popping the back off. Other than that, it's just unscrewing a few screws and putting in the new drive. I'm glad that Sabrent finally put out a consumer drive. So highly recommend, if you can find one of these drives, to put one of these in there. Don't have to deal with an OEM, and it's a decent price, to be honest. Not a sponsor, I'm too small of a channel for that, honestly, but yeah, I really highly recommend this drive. That's all I've got for today. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you really liked it, why not subscribe? And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.